All right, welcome back to another little walk with Jenny. Here she is. She's being a good girl so far. We're about to get into the woods where I can let you off leash. Yeah. Okay, wait. Walk with me. No, back. Good girl. Good girl. Okay. I don't know if you saw any of that because I am testing out my action camera's vest. Also, it's really windy right here, but hopefully that gets better as we get into the trees. So I have a like a cheap Amazon action camera vest mount holder. I'm sure that's the official name of it. That I'm testing out. So we'll see how wobbly it is and what it looks like. Well, we'll see. Anywho, today I figured I would, this is a second video that I made last time, kind of just introduce Jenny here. And then this video, I figured I would tell you my entire life story. Not really, but just the maybe relevant or interesting parts. I feel like everybody has an interesting story, even if they think they don't. Once they start telling people about it, things that you find interesting is different than what I find interesting is different than other people find it. Like everything's subjective. Wait a minute. Pause. Jenny, come. Good girl. Sit. Good girl. Okay. Stay. Let's see what we got here. So let's hold this up. Ready for this? Okay. What? You're supposed to... Okay. Jenny, come. Come here. Jenny, come on. Jenny, hey. Close enough. All right. Anyways. Yes. So I'm going to tell you a few things from my own story, which may be interesting or may not. In which case, sorry. Not sorry. So, I am Pete. We'll just say that. I'm Pete, and I'm 40 years old, and I'm a full-time entrepreneur, which sounds, well, actually it probably sounds like nothing to a lot of people. For some people, it might sound, ooh, that's really exciting and interesting, and maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I really do consider myself an entrepreneur, though. I think I've been doing this 8 years full-time, part-time almost 15, oh goodness, more than that, 16 years now. Part-time entrepreneur, 16 years. Full-time, I quit my job maybe like 8 years ago. And I think right off the bat, I'll just tell you, one of the hardest things in my entire life. Hopefully you can hear me, it was the wind. I'm not expecting that. I actually have a mic with a little little windscreen thingy. Not a screen, a fuzzy mic. You know what I'm talking about. I have one of those. I should have grabbed it. Anyways, let's start with the hard thing in my life, sorry. I never knew what I wanted to be when I grew up. And I kind of still don't. And I was always really jealous of those who either A, just knew what they wanted to do with their life, like a calling, if you will, especially as it relates to a job and work and stuff. I never had that. I was always super jealous. I'm also jealous, sometimes even today, I will admit, of people who, even if they didn't know what they wanted to do with their life, they kind of found their way into some field or career, and they're perfectly fine with it. Who are those people? You know what I mean? Like, I have a friend who will remain nameless, who I'm slightly jealous of, even to this day. I've known this guy for 20 years. Was a dude. And this dude studied something in college, and he thought he wanted to do this, but it didn't work out. And it didn't work out very quickly. And so he found himself in another career, completely different. But that was like 20 years ago, and he's still doing it. And as far as I know, he's fine with it. He seems to be super happy. And he posts stuff about his work that he's pleased with. And like, it's just, man, I'm kind of jealous. I never knew what I wanted to do. I want to do everything. I want to be a teacher. I want to be a songwriter. I want to start businesses. I want to be a developer. I want to do nothing, literally nothing with my days. I want to walk my dog. I want to like watch movies. I want to obsess over coffee and matcha and do nothing. That's actually the largest part, I think, of what I want to do. But even as it pertains to work, I never knew what I wanted to do. And I've struggled with this Yeah, basically my entire life. I went through 5 different college majors. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Boom. That's what I'm talking about. Good job. Treat. After you're done. Done pooping? Treat. Yeah, good girl. Okay. Okay, all right. I like to reward that. I wish people rewarded me when I pooped. Anyways, so why was that frustrating? Why was that hard? Just came down to high school and college, and even the 7-8 years after college, until I became, quote unquote, an entrepreneur. And I really do think one can become an entrepreneur, by the way, but that's a story for another day. So I went to college for music, and I loved music. I was really good at music. I did a lot of different bands and orchestras, and I played percussion and piano. I was very skilled, very talented. Made all-state band 9 years in a row or something. I don't know. I was pretty good. And I played music in college. I majored in music. The entire thing. Right up until the point where I didn't. Right? It was almost, it was my junior year of college. A couple of years in. And I decided, oh well, I made a big mistake. Oh God, now what? Crisis. In retrospect, would I have continued to get a music degree? Sometimes I think so. But other times, I don't know. I am happy where I'm at right this second. The past 8 years doing what I've been doing, and I wouldn't change that. But sometimes I feel like my life for the past 25 years would have been a lot easier if I just did music and stayed with music. But I didn't. Junior year. This way. Come on. So I switched. I think I switched to business as a college major. And it was super hard. I hated it. And I switched after one semester to, what did I switch to? I switched to Italian. Literally the language. The Italian language. I'd never been to Italy. I didn't speak Italian. But I really liked pizza. This is going to be a theme if I continue doing videos for this YouTube channel. I really did. That's why I chose that major. I made my college major Italian because I liked pizza. That's an interesting fact. I don't care who you are. But I failed literally every class that semester in Italian. I literally just straight up skipped my final exam for Italian 101 or whatever I was in. Oh, yeah. They kicked me out of school just for a semester. They're like, you need to get your crap together. You can... What was it? It was you had to reapply, but it's a guaranteed reapply or something weird like that. Anyways, I did come back to school after a semester off. I chose sociology because I had a sociology, a sociology 101 class, freshman year or sophomore year of college or something. And I actually just really enjoyed it. It was I'm doing music, okay, but I had this other class and I enjoyed it. So when it was time to come back, I was told by my parents, by my counselors in high school, by my teachers, even in college, mentors, friends, family, everybody. I was told, just get your degree. You got kicked out of school. You don't know what you want to do. Just get a degree. Just any degree. Literally graduate. And we'll figure the rest out. You can get a job. And by the way, 25 years ago, I'm not that old. This was 20 years ago. But before this time, when I was in middle school, high school, that was actually probably correct advice for a hot minute. And I took that advice when I came back to school after a semester off, and shortcut to 2 years later, I got a degree in sociology. Check mark. But this will tell you exactly how old I am, I guess. If you want to guess what year that was, 2008. Or 2000, mid 2008, 2009. AKA a worldwide recession. And to be frank, no one was really hiring sociologists anyways. What is that? Who are sociologists? They're teachers, they're professors. I don't know, is that a career? To this day. Even when I was a sociology major, I couldn't actually picture what I was going to do for work. It's really weird. It's really weird. And so 2008, 2009, forget about it, man. 0 jobs. I remember going to a job fair and just, I'm not really big on suits or dressing really fancy. Like I look okay in a suit, but I'm just not, that's not me. I remember going dressed up as I could be with a really awkward tie and like a brown sports coat or something. And I went to a big college, and everybody at this career fair, there's probably like 5,000 students there, something ridiculous. They were dressed to the nines. They look like, you know that show, I've never seen the show, but there's a show called Suits, and people are like really sleek, like lawyer looking people, consultant looking people, like everybody looked like that, walking around with black portfolios with their resumes in it, and I was just like walking around with a piece of paper. I felt like the biggest idiot and failure you can imagine. I just did not, I was like, what am I doing? Look at all these other people. What am I doing? Speaking of what am I doing, hang on, pause. What is this? Ooh, what are you doing here? Can you see that? Maybe you can see it. That is, I have no idea what that is. But I kind of want to plug something into it. That's USB-C. No clue what that is. I'm going to put it in my pocket and like plug something into that and just see what happens. Probably contains like viruses. It's going to like ruin my MacBook. Anyways, so I graduated with a degree. Couldn't get a job. Didn't want to search for a job because that was miserable. And so I actually went back to school after talking with a mentor, so to speak. It's more like a friend of the family. I didn't know him all that well, but he was a professor. Actually, he was the dean of a business school at a really small college. Not the college I was attending, different college, different university. Jenny, come. There you go. So I talked to this guy, and I knew him. He knew me a little bit. I told him my life story, basically everything I just told you, and he was like, oh, you should try accounting. Accounting? Why? He's like, well, you're a music major, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, huh, same thing. It's really similar. You'd be surprised how similar it is. And he kind of like sold me on this pitch. I think he was just trying to convince me to do it so I could get a job, I'm guessing, in retrospect. By the way, spoiler alert, I got a degree in accounting, I got a master's degree in accounting, I got my CPA license, and I worked in a top 10 accounting firm in the country. Nothing like music. Sorry, professor. In retrospect, I think he did the right thing by telling me that, but no, it's not. It's absolutely nothing like music. Jeez, good Lord. Anyways, I listened to him, and I got my degrees, and I got my CPA license, and I got my first grown-up job after I graduated. $52,000 a year. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was literally in the middle of a street when I opened the envelope from this accounting firm, and I saw like the offer, like the salary offer and the job offer. I remember exactly where I was. $52,000 a year was the most money I'd ever heard of in my entire life. It seemed, people say like it seemed too good to be true. I mean that literally. It literally seemed too good to be true. I was like, they messed up. They hired me. I'm not worth this. I'm not smart enough. Jenny, come. Uh-oh, there's somebody coming. Go girl. Sit. Go girl. Okay. I don't want her to like surprise whoever this poor person is. We'll go this way. Maybe we'll meet them in a minute. So I got this job. I took this job, and I moved to the big city where the accounting jobs were, and it was super hard, way harder than anything I did in college, but not in a bad way. It was kind of fulfilling, kind of challenging in a good way at this point in my life. I also got married around that time to my wife, and it was good. Really hard, super long hours. This is like, even if you're not doing taxes directly, tax season from January to April-ish at major accounting firms, it affects everybody. Everybody. Doesn't matter what you do there, you're affected. And so yeah, like 65 hours a week to start minimum. Well, maybe like 60 hours a week minimum. And a lot of the weeks were more like 80 for sure. It didn't last forever, but just those first like couple of months, it was brutal. So brutal. Anyways, fast forward a couple of years later, I took another job in accounting that was less brutal, way less hours a week. And for the first year, I would say, in that job, I felt like I had won the life lottery. I had a good paying job. They kept giving me pay raises. You know, accountants it's kind of a boring job a lot of times. And so there is high turnover, I think. I don't know, at least at the time. And so the first year was great. They're paying me. I really don't work. I was there for 40 hours a week, this other job. But honest to goodness, like my brain was on for like 10 hours a week, maybe. I would get bored. I would literally just watch Twitch at work, hours a day. I didn't know what else to do. And it was during this time where I didn't know what else to do that I kind of discovered some side hustles. I'll say just online business. That sounds really, it sounds like anything. It sounds like a lot of things. But in the real sense of the word, I started online businesses. I started some just like content-based blogs. Blogging was big back then. I started a few e-commerce experiments. I started a lot of things, and nothing that lasted more than like a month or two. None of them really made money. There was a few things where I kind of made a little bit of money, but not like what I was making in accounting or whatnot. But, spoiler alert, I just loved it. Not like Jenny is loving this walk, because I have you on the leash. Can I let you off? I don't know what that other person went. It doesn't matter, right? Are you good? You gonna run off? Where would you go? Come here, come on. Sit. I want you to look at me. There you go, that's a good girl. Stay. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we're going somewhere. I think you see somebody or hear somebody. I don't know. You're a good girl, right? You look like a good girl. Okay. Nope, this way. Jenny. Come on. She knows what she's supposed to do. Come on. There you go. Good girl. Go that way. All right. Anyways. So I got bored at work and I started side hustling, so to speak. And I loved it. That's the bottom line here. I did not love being bored at work. I did not love commuting for literal hours a day. Every single day of, like Monday through Friday, just commuting. Hours a day in the car, multiple hours, more than 2. It was not very fun. Didn't enjoy that. Didn't enjoy being bored. Didn't enjoy doing work that honestly was not fulfilling. And it's like the opposite of fulfilling. It's not like I've had like 30 jobs in my entire life. This was the least fulfilling, I think, which is really weird. But they're paying me, and so, you know, I couldn't quit. I didn't have a business that was making a lot of money. I didn't have anything that was making a lot of money outside of work, so I couldn't really quit. Transition time. In 2016, I pursued another opportunity that was kind of going to be the best of both worlds. This was a very small startup, I guess you could call them that. In retrospect, not so much. Jenny, come. Come on. I took a job at this small startup. I kind of talked them into hiring me. In retrospect, I don't like that. I'll tell you why. You'll figure out why. But it was back in my hometown where I grew up, actually. Not in the big city, in the small city. So I had to move my family, my wife. I had one child already. My wife was pregnant. We had to move. We sold our house in the big city. And I took the startup job. And it was going to be half-time. That's the thing. It was going to be half-time, but still pay me benefits, like health insurance and stuff. Jenny, come. So you can see what I'm getting at here. I like doing side hustles. I want to do more of that sort of stuff, but I still need health insurance and benefits and money. So I'm going to work like 20 hours a week and get a paycheck. Not as big a paycheck as accounting, of course, but not insubstantial, and insurance and benefits, whatever. And I only have to work 20 hours a week. So I take this job, we move, we sell our house, and then I got one paycheck, and they laid me off. Cue some like ridiculous sound effect here. Where is she going? Jenny, this was supposed to be my pause for dramatic effect. Hey, come here. Come. Good girl. There you go. That's a good girl. Good girl. Okay, come with me. Come with me. So I got one paycheck and they laid me off. So cried a little. It kind of sucked. I'm not gonna lie. Didn't really know what to do. I was faced with a choice, right? Me and my wife were faced with a decision. We could move again back to a big city, not necessarily the same one. We could move to a different one, but most of the accounting jobs, all the stuff I was really qualified for, and at this time, I could have gotten another accounting job very easily, highly in demand at that point. But we'd have to move and we'd have to start over and we didn't really want to go in the big city. And I didn't really want to do another full-time accounting job, right? But I'm not making any money elsewhere. I don't have any side hustles. I don't have any businesses. I don't have nothing. But we were a little lucky. We prepared financially by accident to handle such a scenario. And so I made this decision to try out full-time entrepreneurship. Whew, I gotta tell you, super hard, super stressful. You hear this advice in business entrepreneurship books all the time. Like, don't quit your day job until you have a side hustle that's actually making money, and decent money that could replace your whatever. Oh, there's my dog. What are you doing over there? Come on. And I think that advice is good. I got fired, I got laid off. I didn't quit per se, but the decision to try full-time entrepreneurship with zero income and zero anything from scratch, oh my gosh, super hard, very stressful. I don't recommend it to anybody, I really don't. Not even a little bit. Hang on, I'm gonna pause my story again. Jenny, come on. She's coming. She can hear me. Yeah. Look at her run. Look at that fluff, man. Can you guys see that? That's ridiculous. So much hair. Good girl. That's a good girl. Sit. Yeah. That's a good girl. I'm going to walk you on the leash just because, yep, there's that other person. I'm not really done telling my story, though. She's moving super slow. That's cool. Let's walk. Come on. You carry the leash. Walk with me. So, I'm going to skip around a bit right now, but actually there's one more interesting part of this. So, I'm in the middle of like a 3 or 4 month freak out on this transition, right? And I did something smart on accident again. It's a theme in my life. I reached out to people that I knew already that were, I don't even say entrepreneurs, they were business owners. I knew business owners, bloggers, creators, especially, like online business people that were making lots of money. Like $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, $50,000 a month, $100,000 a month. I knew some of these people just because at this point I've been blogging and creating for several years, and I just met people. I'd emailed people, just contacts. Some I knew better than others, whatever. Not like super, like I've never met these people in person. We weren't friends. I didn't have their cell phone numbers, but just like they recognized my name and email when I contacted them. We'll just put it that way. So I reached out to these people and I made a little pitch like this. Please, dear God in heaven, meet with me on Skype for 30 minutes and let me ask you questions. Literally, that's all. And I explained to them, look, I really want to do this. I'm not a total idiot. I'm going to take your advice and take action on it. But I got laid off and I need help, and I need help right now. Please just let me ask you questions. Like, it was the most down on both knees begging emails I think I've ever sent, period. That was me. And luckily, as far as I know, like everybody said yes. I sent that to like 5 people-ish. And they were all like, yeah, of course, let's hang out. And the smart accidental thing I did, what is this lady doing? Is she following me? She's literally like in my path like 5 times now. I mean, the dog won't eat her. The dog wants to like love her, but I don't know what this lady thinks about dogs. She is dogless at the moment, so this is weird. And I'm talking to myself. with a camera strapped to my chest, which is more than a little awkward. Because, Jenny, what are we going to do here? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? You pick. I know what you want to do. That's a bad idea. Sorry. You don't pick. Anyways, so here's the smart thing I did on accident. I recorded those calls. I got on, I think it was Skype. Zoom literally didn't exist. Or if it did, it was like super new. I got on Skype and I recorded these calls. And after I was done, I was like re-listening to them. I was like, this is really good audio. This is a podcast. I should start a podcast with this. And I did. I turned those into a podcast, which I won't say blew up, but it blew up small scale. It blew up for me in terms of going from $0 a month to a couple of $100 a month. That to me was blowing up. It's not actually blowing up in the grand scheme of the universe, but at the time it felt like such a win. And I had people listening to these audio calls that I recorded. You're like leading me here. Come back. Good girl. Walk with me. Hey, back. I had people listening to these, and I continued to reach out and talk to more people. And the more downloads I got, the bigger my email list, the more people said yes to coming on the podcast, and the more people shared it, and so on and so forth. It actually started working. And I no longer run that podcast really, actually, sort of. It's still up. I kind of left that business alone about 3 years ago, for different reasons, which I'll share another time. But the point is, I made it work. It took forever. Super stressful, especially the first year. Oh my God, super stressful. I owe everything to my wife for not A, leaving me, B, forcing me into another accounting job. Kudos to her and her alone, man. Because if I were in her position, I don't know if I could have stood it. She's better than I am. Anyways, I made it work. And here we are. I've started over 70 businesses, most of which were complete and utter failures. I have officially sold one company, most of which I still have maybe like 4 or 5 that are earning at the moment, like monthly recurring revenues coming in. I also have one-off projects that I launch and sell for non-recurring revenue, not subscription-based businesses or whatever. Like I have some of those too that I'll do a few times a year and earning well enough. I'm not a multimillionaire. I don't claim to be, but they're earning enough to survive and save for retirement and put food on the table for Jenny, or if not table, the dog bowl. And it's good. And I'm happy. I get to take walks and do stupid stuff like this YouTube channel. And it's just a good life. Yeah. I was going to say, but it's still stressful every now and then. And I think that's true. But weird things happen. I think a lot of you listening to this would agree with this. When you do encounter stressful things and you literally survive them, sometimes you have life things that maybe you don't survive as much. Maybe you're still living, but something altered in your life forever. But when you have something hard, stressful, challenging that doesn't leave you that way, that actually makes you smarter, wiser, better, healthier, any of those things, man, you get used to it and it becomes normal. Stress becomes normal. Months where I literally only make $23 are actually normal, followed closely by months where I make $45,000. Like the entrepreneur revenue roller coaster is real. But at this point, I think I've actually just gotten used to it. It's kind of weird. Yeah, but it's normal. There you go. So honestly, I think that's all I want to say. I'm trying to think if I missed anything. I kind of walked myself in circles around. I feel sorry for Jenny on this walk. I went for like a 20-minute walk, but I talked for more than that. And so I feel sorry for this dog. He's just kind of like, what are we doing? Hello. I've already pooped. I've already got my jitters out, my zoomies, if you will. Just want to go home now. Actually, she would just love to run after this person, probably. Which I don't know. We're going to go over this hill and see if she's still there. And if she's not there, I'll let you off the leash. And you can run around and zoom. Oh, I see her. She's literally there. She's the slowest walker. Oh my God. Sorry. I'm not judging, but I'm like, I got a little unlucky. There's 0.5 people out here every time I walk out here. Maybe like every other time I'll see somebody from a distance. And most of the time it's like, oh, okay, the dog's on the leash. It doesn't matter. Or if the dog's off the leash, we'll just go a different way or whatever. And then today, this lady has been in our path. I don't want to say our way. That sounds bad. It's not her fault. But yeah, been something to consider like 5 times now. There she is. Right there. Anyways, I think that's all I got. That's my story. I'm Pete from Walks with Jenny. And this YouTube channel is just an interesting experiment for me. I'm not going to make any money off this, but it doesn't cost me anything really. Just fun. Fun to do different things. We'll see how it goes. If you enjoyed this video, give me a like, comment, subscribe, send me your firstborn, and pay me money. That'd be great. Thank you.